for joining us for the Advancing Oceanside Podcast. Today, we're going to be learning about the North County Food Bank. But first, a quick message about our sponsor. Today's Advancing Oceanside Podcast is sponsored by Tri-City Medical Center. Tri-City's Coastal Initiative stands for community outreach and support through active leadership. The goal of the Coastal Initiative is to move the needle on community health issues and address social determinants of health. Tri-City Medical Center is more than just a hospital. It has one of the most technologically advanced emergency departments in North County, San Diego, and is nationally renowned for heart and stroke care. With over 50 medical specialties, board-certified emergency medical physicians, and state-of-the-art technology, Tri-City is your resource for quality care close to home. Learn more at tricitymed.org/community. Hello and welcome to the Advancing Oceanside Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Ashton, and today I am pleased to have as our guest Jim Floros, the CEO of the San Diego Food Bank, to talk with us about the work of the North County Food Bank. How are you today, Jim?
I'm doing very well under the circumstances. I think we're doing as well as we could be expected.
Great. Well, Jim, before we start talking about the food bank itself, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to the San Diego Food Bank.
Well, I'm a Wisconsin boy who was smart enough to get out of Wisconsin and no more 75 below zero. Drove cross country by myself at the age of 18 and came to San Diego to go to college. Went to the USD, University of San Diego, and then fell into a nonprofit job right out of college. So I'm a career nonprofit guy, 36 years nonprofit, 27 as a CEO. I was in the right place at the wrong time or wrong place at the right time, and I was a CEO at the age of 33. So I have a lot of my experience and expertise is based on just learning along the way. I didn't have that great mentor, but I've been with the food bank going on 8 years. And while the other organizations I worked for were fantastic, I think this is my calling. This has been the most gratifying 8 years of my career.
Great. And I love watching what you do because I always believe that nonprofits need to be run as businesses, and you are a shining example of that.
Thank you.
So the San Diego Food Bank assumed control of the North County Food Bank back in 2015. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came about?
Yeah, we have always served all of San Diego County, and we've always served North County, but we could see that North County was underserved. And the thing is with our model of 200 distribution sites that we control, plus 500 nonprofit partners, there was a lot of hardship for some of our North County partners, because you as a North County person, you know that North County is kind of a separate community, and because of traffic, there's a hardship getting down to Miramar to get their food. We have partners as far up as Pendleton, Fallbrook, or what have you, not just along the 78 corridor. And so I was thinking, all right, we want to expand what we're doing in North County. I need a North County hub so we can have some place where the agencies up there can get their food there rather than coming down to Miramar. So as we're going through that conversation, and I got pushback from some people because they said, oh, there's no poverty in North County. What are you doing up in North County? I'm like, there's a lot of poverty in North County. Escondido, I think, has the second highest rate of poverty in the county. Anyway, right about that time, North County Community Services had operated the North County Food Bank for many years, and they brought in a new CEO. She really wanted to get back to their core of programs and saying, well, we're really not experts in running a food bank. Would you be interested in taking over control? So we call it an acquisition, but it was pretty much the friendliest acquisition of all time. And they said, here, please take this. And the timing was perfect. It was friendly. They were a partner of ours. So we stepped up, took over the North County Food Bank, inherited a very substandard facility. It was in San Marcos at the time, 5,000 square feet, no loading docks, and the refrigeration units. The door was not wide enough to put a pallet through. Mm-hmm. So how are we doing 1 million more pounds of fresh produce in North County when you have to take food off of one pallet and put it in the other? So it took us a little time, but we moved out of that facility into our current facility, which is in Vista. And so we're 40,000 square feet, loading docks, all the bells and whistles, plus a client choice pantry. which is something we'll probably get back to in the interview, which is a little different. It's kind of like a grocery store for people. And so we're really thrilled with that facility. But again, that is only a temporary location, because the big idea is a capital campaign for a mega facility that will be focused on wraparound services.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things we realize is that food insecurity may be one challenge that somebody has, but if they have food insecurity, they may have a whole host of other challenges. So the idea is bringing other agencies with different services for the same service population and have it kind of a central hub, a hunger hub, one-stop shopping, so people can come and get other services, which actually frees them up, instead of running all over town to get different services, it frees them up to go to school, go to work, and become self-sufficient. So that's our big idea for the North County.
Good. So, I understand congratulations are in order. Last month, you were awarded the San Diego Business Journal's Nonprofit CEO of the Year. So congrats on that. So when you accepted the award, you had mentioned it's not me, but we. So can you maybe share a little bit about how your team has stepped up in the last 8 months or so during the COVID crisis?
Well, it is. And I, make the joke that it is a we award, but there's only room for one name. So I guess mine will go on there. But I mean, who else are you gonna give an award to but someone with the food bank during COVID? Going back to your comment about running the organization like a business, we were about 4 weeks into the pandemic, and I was noting how well we were doing. And when the pandemic hit, it was seamless. There was no panic. We pivoted, had our first phase 1 response within 72 hours. Now we're in phase 3, and I realized that the organizational excellence that we had worked so hard toward. So outstanding relationship with donors, elected officials, media, Hallmark programs, Hallmark financials, 94 cents of every dollar going directly to program services, and a crazy great culture among the staff and volunteers. And all businesses need to hire to culture, but for a nonprofit, it takes up another level, because if you're looking for a paycheck, you don't want to work for a nonprofit. It's just, you can make more money in the private sector, but if you bridge to the cause, best job ever. So we hire people to that culture. And what I realized is that we had built a ship to weather the storm. We just didn't know it at the time, because we just did what you're supposed to do, and it has served us so well. It's been kind of seamless, and we keep adapting, we keep adjusting, and so really the staff here, we had even people on staff that were vulnerable populations, maybe diabetic or what have you. I'd say, are you okay being here? And they said, I work at the food bank to feed people. Let's go feed people. So it's that culture that's really carried the day.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit about your recent move from San Marcos, from 5,000 square feet to 40,000 square feet. And I remember going on the tour of your Miramar facility. That was a 40-minute tour, and it could have easily been longer. And then the San Marcos facility is more like a 4-minute tour. So, and I know the Vista facility is somewhere in between that. So can you maybe share a little bit more on that move and what it's allowed you to do in the interim and while you get to the bigger plan that you're working on?
Well, it's got loading docks, and that's great, and 40,000 square feet. And we're also the regional diaper bank for San Diego County, and we're doing about 500,000 diapers countywide. Well, that's a lot of diapers, and you need a lot of space, and we don't have room for those diapers down at Miramar. So we also, the North County facility also doubles as our regional diaper bank. So basically, all the diapers that come into the county are stored there and then dispersed, throughout the county from the North County facility. Another thing that's different with North County as opposed to Miramar is we have a client choice pantry on site, which is kind of like a market where people can come in. It's like a little grocery store, a little market. They get the food that your family needs, and they get it with complete dignity, and they get their food and off they go. Interesting kind of tidbit is that before the COVID, we'd see about 50 families a week that would come in and get food from the client choice pantry. But then with COVID, the numbers of people coming in were just crazy. So the staff took it upon themselves to set up a drive-through distribution. And so they are on the parking lot, and with the canopies, the bins are brought out, and we're seeing between 200 and 300 cars a day. So maybe 1,000, 1,500 cars a week, and it became the model actually for our super pantry program that we're doing throughout the county.
Okay. So you talked a little bit about the great team you have in place, and obviously your organization has a great leader. But we know that there's more to it than that in terms of community support, the volunteers, the corporate sponsorships, and so on. Can you talk a little bit about that and maybe how our viewers can get plugged in one way or another?
Well, everything in life is about relationships. And so we have a pretty strong following, and people like the fact that we're a completely local organization. So we had a lot of existing donors. And then we had built an organization, that had a really fine reputation, and people knew of us, even if they weren't a donor before. And so when COVID hit, I was overwhelmed with people reaching out to me saying, how can I help? And I would tell you probably 65% of our fundraising was from people coming to us before we could get to them. Mm-hmm. That is the sign of great fundraising, when you don't have to ask for the gift, because the donor, it's their idea because they know what we're doing. So some donors, made huge gifts, corporate, individuals, or what have you. And that has really carried the day, because we are raising a lot of money, but we're spending, a lot of money. The call to action for people who want to be part of the solution is pretty simple. We need money, that'll never go away. A good example of that, in a typical year, we purchase about $1 million in food purchases. So 52 weeks, $1 million in food purchases. We just hit $8 million in food purchases since the beginning of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So, and I will hit 10 million before the end of the year. It's crazy. You can't make this up, but people are donating, and we're putting that money to work. And in our super pantry program, we're pushing a lot of food through those 35 sites. Plus, we gave each of those sites a $20,000 capacity grant, so they could buy pallet jacks, refrigeration units, storage, whatever they need to be able to meet the great demand that they're facing. So these San Diego donors made all that possible, but we're not out of the woods yet. This is going to be going on for at least a couple of years, at least with the economic turndown. So it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, no, and I love the way that you guys invest in other organizations in the region. I know you're part of our chamber and several others, and you really leverage those relationships in a positive way. I know it's a very fun thing for our chambers to participate in your virtual food drive, and also the peanut butter drive that just ended. Any stats as to, because I know that there was a virtual element to the peanut butter drive this year. Any stats in the door yet as to?
I don't have that, but I'll guarantee you it was a lot. The virtual, we have a virtual food drive, and we do specialized virtual food drives, but people love it because, they don't have to leave their home, and they can buy food on our behalf, and they've always been popular. But just since the beginning of COVID, we've probably done 400 or 500 specialized, unique virtual food drives, and people are, it takes a community to feed a community, and people are really stepping up. And I love my peanut butter, high in protein. Kids like it. Too expensive for us to buy it, so people make fun of me that I'm obsessed with peanut butter, but it's a superfood.
No, and you do a great job in getting the chambers and the community excited about peanut butter too, because it's a little competition amongst the chambers where we get to see who can bring the most jars in the door. So, any other new programs or services that you guys have created in recent times that we should know about, or anything that you're looking ahead at that might be a little bit different?
Well, we're going to be it's that next year in the spring, redoing our strategic plan, and a couple of things. And one, I think for especially the business-minded people, we realize that we have a social enterprise here at the food bank, and it's our repack program. So we buy 2,000-pound totes of rice, beans, and oatmeal, and we repack it into 1-pound bags, and our nonprofit partners buy that from us. But we're paying pennies on the dollar, so they're paying pennies on the dollar. Well, we've realized there's a whole market throughout the state of California of other food banks that want to buy that product from us because it's inexpensive, and it's rice, beans, and oatmeal. So we actually committed to a new repack machine. The old one could do 2,000 bags an hour. The new one does 6,000 bags an hour. Mm-hmm. So we'll really launch that after the first of the year. And more sophisticated nonprofits are going to a model of having some sustainable sources of revenue outside of philanthropy. You'll always need philanthropy, but we think we can net about $250,000 by the first year. So we're moving towards that, and we really need to look at that. Do we want to do marketplace, like Trader Joe's or Sprouts or whatever to have this food bank product. So that's something we're looking at and thinking outside the box. Another thing we've really focused on for many years is about the root causes of hunger, because people say, my criticism of most hunger organizations, they say our goal is to end hunger, and the way of ending hunger is being more efficient in feeding people. That's not ending hunger. That's just creating a better mousetrap, right? A better Band-Aid. If you really want to prevent hunger, you need to look at the root causes of poverty and why people are hungry in the first place. So we're really trying to delve into that. And we realize that social inequity, racism, a lot of those things really feed into why poverty exists. So we're going to try to get inside of that and really try to prevent people from being hungry in the first place. It's about self-sufficiency. It's about helping people be independent. And it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you lean towards. We get equal support from both sides of the aisle because everybody loves the notion of helping people become self-sufficient.
Yeah, and that's great to hear in a time where there's so much division in our country, that something amazing like the work that you guys are doing is something that just everybody can get behind. So, yeah.
I said to an elected official not too long ago, we don't lean left and we don't lean right. We just lean forward. We're just going to feed people. We keep our head low and we keep our mouth shut, and they all give me a pass. No one ever asks, me to endorse one thing or another thing. So they kind of let me be Switzerland.
Yeah, absolutely. So just any final things that you would like to share with our viewers?
Well, thank you. I mean, really a big thank you, because we couldn't do all this work and going, we've distributed like 34 million pounds of food just since the middle of March. That doesn't happen without donors who've been very generous in what we're doing. Volunteers are still showing up at the warehouses because we need that, because that's a part of our supply chain. So really first of all, just a big thank you for the community rallying around their local food bank. I've gotten to know even more about North County since we took over the North County Food Bank. And one of the things I've said many times, North County people show up. We do an open house and we're stunned by the number of people who show up, and they're always engaged and they're doing peanut butter drives. And it's such a cool community that you guys all kind of band together and stick together. And we're not San Diego, but we're still great. And I love that. I love that sense of community. And I can't thank North County residents enough for everything they've done to help make the North County Food Bank a success.
Any events coming up? Any way that community members can get plugged in the near future?
Well, we have an event coming up on November 12th, and it's our North County Food Bank COVID Heroes event. North County's really rallied around us. This is a converted gala that we used to do, and then it was going to be a harvest festival. Obviously, we can't do events, so it's mostly virtual. So people go to SanDiegoFoodBank.org and find the link. And then we're giving awards to, we have, I think, 9 different categories to about 18 fantastic organizations, donors, elected officials, volunteer groups, or what have you. And we're just honoring all the people in the North County region who stepped up to support the North County Food Bank. So again, it's Thursday, November 12th. I think it's 5 to 6:30 p.m. Just click on, grab a cold beverage, and enjoy the show.
Sounds like fun. And for those that want to get plugged in, what's the website address? Where can they go to find more info?
I'm going to throw out one, SanDiegoFoodBank.org. So you go there, you can make a financial gift. We can take $1, leverage that into 5 meals. Virtual food drive, you can buy food on our behalf. And then perhaps even more importantly, if you know of people who need help, SanDiegoFoodBank.org/get help. SanDiegoFoodBank.org/get help. All of our distribution sites, everything, people can find places in their neighborhood with complete dignity to get the food they need. People who've never needed help, who are maybe reluctant to do that, people who were once donors and are recipients. There's no shame. There's plenty of food. Get the food you need to feed your family. And you know what? We'll weather the storm together.
Great. Well, Jim, thank you for the great work that you're doing in our community. And thank you for taking time to join us for our Advancing Oceanside show. And we look forward to staying in touch and continuing our partnership.
Thanks, Scott. You guys have been great. Really appreciate the opportunity to get the word out.